I'm here as the Director of Outdoor Adventures on campus, and with me are two of our students. So we have Devin Lambert and we have Grace Emery, and they're going to be presenting to you about the student experience when I've gone through my presentation. And we've decided to call this the serious side of fun, because as you guys probably gather, what we do at Outdoor Adventures is we go out and we have fun, but we do it in a controlled manner that is serious and always with a purpose. We never just go out and mess around, if you will. So Outdoor Adventures is part of Campus Rec and Unions, and what we're going to be talking about today specifically is student development and academic collaboration. This is something we all do in terms of the student development. But what I'm hoping to do, the purpose of this, is to hopefully inspire some of you guys to think about other ways of doing this, and also that how do we get involved with supporting the academics on campus. So I graduated from UC Davis 30 years ago now, and as a student, I was never a great classroom student, that's for sure. And to this day, I don't remember any of my professors that I had. I don't remember who was my Chem 1A professor, and I don't remember who was my lit professor, but what I do remember as a student that was involved with Outdoor Adventures, going out on academic trips, I remember the name of every single prof, of every single staff that I had the good fortune of going out and working with. And as a student guide, I was actually tasked with taking professors out into the field, leading their classes. And this is something that was very, very important to me, because it's really where I feel my academics changed. And when I started getting involved with that, I became a better student. The other thing that's very important to me is the student development aspect. And again, I was never a great student, so what I gathered confidence-wise in the classroom wasn't quite there. But what I gathered as an employee, as a guide for Outdoor Adventures, I think gave me the confidence to go on after I graduated and become one of the founders of Black Diamond Equipment, which is one of the leading outdoor companies in existence. So it was a really great opportunity for me. And what I'd like to do is make sure that the students that are involved with Outdoor Adventures have those same opportunities. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a couple of different things with Outdoor Adventures. One of them is, what do we do? We're going to look at how we do it, and we're going to look at ultimately why we do it. So what we do, this is it right here. We're up in the snow. We're teaching students how to do safe rescue should somebody go into a crevasse. And that's our classroom. And it's a great place to have a classroom, but it's with the idea that we are teaching student guides to become leaders. We're teaching students, we're a very all-inclusive group. Anybody that wants to get involved with us, it doesn't matter if they're skiers, it doesn't matter if they're kayakers, it just doesn't matter. We teach for that. And so here you go. This is our classroom right here. And our mission, what we try to do, is to develop leadership and confidence within the student-oriented environment of the university. That's what Outdoor Adventures really does, and I think does pretty well. And the way that we do that, there you go. There's our mission right there. This is being put into practice. So these are students out having a great time. They're having fun. They're up on the South Fork of the American River. But you can see in the back there, the person with the hat on, that is an OA-trained guide. And that individual came into the program, went through one of our guide schools, and started to develop skills that were very progressive that ultimately allowed her to lead her own trips. And that's really what we're after. So we offer a lot of opportunities for students on campus, one of which is trips. We have, whether it be a day trip going up to go hiking in the mountains, or a sea kayaking trip for a day or for a week, whatever the case may be, we offer a lot of different trips. So we try to engage students in whatever area they're interested in. We have classes in all of the things that we do. We have a rental center on campus that students can come and rent equipment for really any outdoor activity they want to do. We supply the equipment as well as a resource center. So students will oftentimes come in and they're saying, hey, where's a good place to go camping this weekend? Or what are the snow conditions like up in Tahoe? Or how's the avalanche conditions right now? You know, those are the things that we want to get across, that safety aspect. And then probably most importantly, offer guide schools to the students so that they can become leaders. The skills that we offer are wilderness, water, rock climbing, and everything from backpacking to camping to sea kayaking, whitewater rafting, snow, healthcare, and that's really important to the program is the healthcare component. And with that, all of our students who go out into the field and lead trips are required to have minimal amounts of first aid. And so we require that all students are CPR trained as well as have a minimum of 16-hour wilderness first aid training. We encourage the students to go on and become wilderness first responders, EMTs, and swiftwater rescue technicians. And the one thing that I see and hear all the time is through the activities that these students got with learning these wilderness medical skills, we've had so many students as a result of this say, hey, you know what? I've gone on and I've pursued this as a degree, as a passion. We've got medical doctors in the program and a lot of PAs and RNs now. So it really does work well. And then for student leadership, within Outdoor Adventures, we have 4 student managers. Devin and Grace are 2 of them right here. We have 10 to 12 part-time student employees, over 100 student and faculty guides. So at any given time, Outdoor Adventures will have over 100 students or faculty acting as guides, taking trips out and running them within the program. We have 65 guide instructors trained per year. So every year in 7 different guide schools, we train up to 65 guides and instructors. And that's in everything from whitewater rafting to sea kayaking, you name it, we do it. And we do it with the idea that the students can come in without any skills previously, and we train for them to do the activities. And we do it, again, going back to the whole idea of the serious side of fun, over 3,500 people have gone out on our trips last year. And they participated in 270 classes. We had 7,000 plus user days in the field, 2,280 rentals. But what's really something I'm super proud about and something that Outdoor Adventures does well is, yeah, we get the occasional bumps, scrapes, bruises, all of that. You go out into the field, that's going to happen. But last year, we had 0 reportable injuries. So that really shows that we are taking our fun seriously and making sure to offer a safe environment for the students. There you go. There's another one of the great places we go. So that's one of our classrooms, and this is a winter guide school that we took up to, this is Round Meadow up at Donner Summit, and we take students who have never done anything like this before and get them to where they can start running this trip and do it on their own. And it's a great confidence builder. So it's the student development aspect that really matters to us. So that's kind of what we do, looking at it, how do we do it? And there it is right there. That's how we do what we do. This is a 16-day, it was our 4th annual 16-day Grand Canyon river trip where we had 40 students and 7 faculty and profs on the trip. And the way that we do it is we go to the professors. We've established a reputation on campus that we can go to the professors, they can come to us, and they know that everything we do is turnkey. So they say, hey, you know what? We want to go out and go do this incredible geology course, because that's as good a geology as you can get in the field. And they don't know how to do these courses. They have no idea. We do. So what we try to do with the faculty and why this has been successful, and I hope that everyone will consider doing something along these lines, is we say, hey, we have the skills to run these classes. We can run the trips. You guys run the teaching. That's what we do, and that's why it's been successful. We separate it out. We run the trips. We free you up to teach. And the faculty really appreciate that. And once you've established that link and you've proven that you can do this, you'll keep getting invited back time and time again. So that's in a nutshell, how are we doing this? We take a managerial approach that is always mindful of our mission, a prudent financial management. As all of you guys, we are stretched budget-wise, and we always try to look and say, how do we spend our money? Where's the best way to do it, and how do we have the biggest impact on students? We offer post-trip assessment and evaluation, so all of our courses that go out into the field, whether it be for a day or whether it be multiple days. When they come back in, we collect evaluations on them. We then take those evaluations, engage in strategic planning so that what we can do is offer a better trip experience, a better leadership experience for the future generations. And then, again, excellent guide training, and we have fun. And I want to go back to the fact that we had no reportable injuries last year. And I think that really speaks volumes to the degree of guide training that we put into this. So, Robert Pace, educational developer, said, educational outcomes are enhanced by frequent and active involvement. And here you can see this blob right there is, this is a wilderness first responder course that students are participating hands-on. That's a pig lung that we got out of the meat lab. And the tube that you see going in there actually goes to a rafting pump. And they're inflating the set of lungs, one which has a pneumothorax, one which doesn't, so that when they go out into the field, should they ever see these things or should they ever experience some pretty advanced medical problems, they hopefully will know how to start responding. And it's a great way to get students involved and get them motivated to continue to do things. Our program priorities for leadership are direct and hands-on experience. You just saw that in the slide. We have training and development for students, staff, and faculty. It's not just students. This is what's really key about Outdoor Adventures, is that we have a lot of staff and a lot of faculty that come into the program. When I was a student, one of the things that impacted me more than anything was the ability to go out and become a trainer for faculty. So faculty would come out, they'd want to learn how to do trips or they'd want to learn how to do things, and getting to be a trainer for a faculty is very impactful because it turns the tables, and it's a great opportunity. And then we offer progressive tracks for skill building and leadership development. So across the board, we don't expect students to come in with skills, and we don't expect them to come in with leadership skills. We train for all of that, and we do it in a very progressive manner so that when students come in, we never get them in over their heads, if you will, and we make sure to set them up to succeed as much as possible. Our program priorities academically is we have academic partnerships with most of the earth science departments on campus. So whether it be geology, hydrology, you name it, those are the guys that are attracted to us. Those are the departments that we tend to work with the best. And once we established that connection, it's just been self-fulfilling and it just goes and goes. We also work interdepartmentally with academic collaboration. And we work, an example of this is the Watershed Center on campus. So we support their mission of teaching water-related issues to a whole new generation of students coming up. And they wouldn't be able to do a lot of their field work if it were not for having a partnership with Outdoor Adventures, or really anyone on campus that would want to help them out. And there you go. A snowshoeing trip up in Yosemite, student guides, and they're leading students who have never, in this case, this was mostly a foreign student trip, and these guys have never been in the snow before. And here we have students that were trained Outdoor Adventures that are going out leading these students into a place that they've never seen before. They've never done anything like this. They're out on a snow camping trip, and they go back and just say, wow, this was really impactful. So that's kind of what we do. And now I want to look at why we do it. You know, aside from being out in the field, having fun, having a great time, the extent and quality of one's social interaction with students, peers, and faculty have a positive influence on degree attainment. And you know, with that, I can absolutely speak that as a student, it was hugely impactful for me. And what we have to do is we have to take these opportunities and make sure that the students that are with us now, that are going to be with us in the future, always have those same opportunities. The way we do that for students is we progressively responsible volunteer in employment positions. They're involved and meaningfully engaged, so we make sure that a lot of these students have not only a community, but a safe place to come and make mistakes. Self-confidence, respect for others, and problem-solving skills, because we're very careful with how we pair students up with other guides, we make sure that everybody's got a progressive learning track, and the more advanced students are taking out the younger students, and we're setting them up to succeed. Within the community of Davis, we support the academic mission of UC Davis, and you can see how we do that by going out on these trips, by going out into the field. We offer a healthy environment for learning, quality of life for campus community, and personal experiences for the students, staff, faculty, and community. So it goes well beyond just the immediate student. So I'm going to close this up right now, and then I'm going to turn this over to my students who are going to speak from a student experience level. But what I want to close with is that we challenge our students. We oftentimes take them way outside of their comfort zone. And I actually cleared this with Grace this morning, so I'm going to go ahead, and she's okay with me sort of relating the story. This past weekend, we were out doing some pretty advanced sea kayaking, and during that time, Grace twice got seasick, threw up, and said, hey, you know what? I'm doing okay. Let's keep going. We took her outside of her comfort zone. From there, poor Grace, she didn't realize this. 30 minutes later, we wound up exploring some of the sea caves in the area, and Grace got knocked out of her kayak while in a sea cave. And really clearly takes students out of their comfort zone, but it gives them new skills and confidence to go forward and do some of these things. And the skills that they learn at Outdoor Adventures are very applicable to things outside of the program. We bring the academic experience into a totally unexpected setting. Very few students come to UC Davis and think, you know what? I'm going to be out on a Grand Canyon river trip for 16 days, or I am going to go sea kayaking around the Channel Islands, or I'm going to get to go down and do Tuolumne River trips, or I am going to go study. I'm actually going to go study in Yosemite. So this is really powerful. This is a big impact, and they're going to talk about that, what it means to them. But we're ever mindful, and this is what's probably the single most important thing as we go through this, doing the type of work that we do. We have to be ever mindful of our roles as mentors and encourage students to take it slowly. And but be responsible. Again, it's that sort of the serious side of what we do. And we will never allow the students to bite off more than they can safely chew. This is a blue-footed booby that we came across down in Baja. And as you can see, this guy tried to bite off more than it can chew. And when they do that, the results can be catastrophic for all involved. And so really what we try to do is I use this as a great example to say, hey, you guys, what happens when we get in over our heads? And this is it right here. Our eyes were bigger than our stomachs, our mouths, and we wind up in a really bad situation. So there is a very serious side of fun, and it's called student development. And through the student development, it's academic support. So that's really kind of what I want to talk about. And at this point, I've set the stage. I want to turn it over to two fabulous students who are here, and they're going to talk about their experiences and how it's impacted their lives. So I think Grace is going to go first. And are you all set?
Yeah. Okay. All right, so there we go. My name is Grace Emery, and I am going to be telling you guys today about how Outdoor Adventures has really fostered my own student development and leadership. So I have been with this program since I was a freshman as a participant. I then went on to be a wilderness guide. I then went on to work in our rental center and am currently the rental center manager until Friday, in which I'll be moving on. So I'm really excited to get a chance to talk about this program that I love so much before I have to leave it. So I went on my first rafting trip as a freshman with Outdoor Adventures, and I had never been on anything like it. I had never been whitewater rafting. I had never been able to afford a trip like this. It's only $50 for students. I was really excited about that. But mostly, I just had the most fun ever. I was so excited that there was an opportunity for me to go out with my friends and have so much fun. And this trip actually is so special to me. I like to think of it as the beginning of one of the most important chapters of my development as a student throughout my college career, and my introduction to becoming a leader and the leader that I am today. So it's documented forever on our whitewater rafting sign. So you guys, if you drive by Outdoor Adventures, you've probably seen our sign out on the raft. So you can remember that moment as the beginning of my personal journey, but also Outdoor Adventures is the beginning of so many other students' personal journeys.
I'm going to just jump in for 1 second, you guys. Grace painted that. So she took this photo over here that she was in, and great artist, applied that to Outdoor Adventures as a student, and look at this legacy that she's left us with. So when you guys drive by the roof, if you look over, you see a raft, there's that big sign on it. There it is, and there is the artist. So, and what a legacy,
Thank you. So I think a week later, I had so much fun. A week later, I signed up for the next trip I could go on, which was a backpacking trip. And I remember at one point asking my guides how old they were, which usually isn't an appropriate question, but our guide had us call him Big Cat, so I don't think he would have minded. And he told me he was 1 year older than I was. So I was a freshman, and he said, I'm a sophomore. And I said, no way, because our guides just possessed so much knowledge, so much confidence, were such great leaders, and handled every situation so calmly that I thought, this person is 1 year older than I am. And I decided right then and there that I wanted to go from being a participant to being a leader. And I enrolled in Outdoor Adventures Wilderness Guide School. So it's one of the 7 guide schools, like I mentioned, and it's the one that fit my level of activity the most at that point. There are other guide schools in water and everything, but I decided to go through Wilderness Guide School. And I like to think that before going through Wilderness Guide School, I considered myself independent. Like a lot of freshmen do, I was living in my own dorm room. I could stay up as late as I wanted. But the truth was, I really had no idea how to take care of myself, let alone take care of other people. So this experience, it was a 2-week-long guide school, and this experience taught me way more about myself than I could have ever imagined. Not only did I learn the hard skills, the outdoor skills, the safety skills like Jordy went over, but I also learned the soft skills of being able to control a group and to go through situations with a comfort and an ease that makes others secure in my abilities to lead. So this was something I would have never gained just enjoying my time in the dorms and staying up as late as I wanted. This was also where I met Devin and some of my other friends that have become the closest people to me in college, and the family and the team that I work for. So I think being involved in something and having teammates and everyone to help you along your path has really, really fostered my abilities to lead and my confidence in myself, just being alongside a really supportive group. So from guide school, I went on to be a wilderness guide. This is my first trip, and I remember being so incredibly nervous, still developing my confidence as a leader, and I think I forgot our trip clipboard, trying to remember if the participants liked crunchy or smooth peanut butter, and there was kind of a million little disasters along the way, but when the trip was over, that feeling was something I haven't ever experienced, and it was just the trust in my own ability and the confidence that I just took care of this group of people. They had a great time, and I really enjoyed being able to teach someone what I had been taught and to see the benefit of that. So I think being a guide not only instills leadership, confidence in yourself, but it is so rewarding to be able to see the benefit of outdoor education and really any kind of knowledge being passed on. So this is just a picture. So I know we call this the serious side of fun, so I'm telling you some of the serious things that have stuck with me, but I also just have to say it's one of the most fun environments to learn these skills and to develop as a student and a person. Just being able to be in beautiful settings like this. This is out at the coast, and like Jordy said, some people had never seen snow before. I've been on trips with people that had never seen the ocean, so that's another really rewarding experience. So this is me today guiding a trip. This is alongside Devin, actually, and I get to now, as a guide, I've done it long enough, I can be a head guide on trips, and I get to take freshmen out. So I see myself in them, and I see these people that are new to this school and have so much to learn, and I am just so grateful that I get an experience that I can pass on my knowledge and my skills and instill in them the same values that I learned from Outdoor Adventures. And I always encourage them, you know, if you want to become a guide, go through our Wilderness Guide School. I see it in you guys. You can hike up this mountain. You can do this. But really, any area that, of student affairs, any area that they can get involved and really develop their leadership and confidence, I encourage them. So something that I love about Outdoor Adventures as well, and that I think has really helped my development, is that you aren't limited to one area. So I was a wilderness guide, but I saw our rental center, which is kind of a more administrative position. You're behind a front desk, you deal with customers on a day-to-day basis, and I saw that position, I thought, you know, this will be really great for developing my skills, my professional skills as well, before I go out into the real world. So I worked in our rental center for a year and learned so much about customer service. And after a year, I was promoted to the rental center manager. And so this is the position that I hold right now, and I'm passing it on this week. But I have to say, it has been so incredibly rewarding. I have been able to train students, interview students, which is not an opportunity that everyone gets. And I think having a position of a managerial position has shown me what it feels like to be on the other side of an interview. So as I graduate college and I have been going through rounds and rounds of interviews, I didn't realize how truly special my position at Outdoor Adventures was until I was on, you know, the interviewee side and knowing, okay, I've heard this answer before. I know how to answer this question. That has been incredibly helpful. Also working with people all over Division of Student Affairs and Campus Recreation and Unions, people in marketing, people helping plan events. So many skills that I've acquired that are really starting to come through as I am heading out into the professional world. So I actually, after this speech right now, I'm driving over to Oakland in what's hopefully the last round of interviews and hopefully a job offer today. And I have to say I would not be anywhere near prepared to even interview for that position or to have made it this far without the skills I've learned, not only as a wilderness guide, even as a participant, but as the manager of our rental center. I think this has all just given me the confidence to interview, and even the confidence to stand up here in front of you today and give this speech. I would not be ready for that as a freshman before I went on my Outdoor Adventures trip. So I like to say, before coming to Outdoor Adventures, I did have a tremendous fear of heights, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is at the top of Lambert Dome in Tuolumne Meadows, and I had a tremendous fear of heights. So not only have I overcome my fear of heights, but I have overcome my fear of so many things. Public speaking is one of them, and just learned how to be a great leader, the confidence in myself that I can achieve anything no matter what goes wrong, how to get over it. And I've had so much fun along the way that I didn't even realize that I was gaining all of this. So I have Outdoor Adventures to thank, and I thank all of you for listening to us present our program to you today.
So my name's Devin. I am going to be a fourth-year wildlife fisheries conservation biology major with a minor in geology. So a lot of the things that we're doing with Outdoor Adventures apply very directly to what I'm studying here academically. I came into UC Davis as a freshman, and I knew I wanted to work at Outdoor Adventures. I saw it during orientation. I walked by the building, and I was like, I have to apply there. So before I was even on campus, I sent the rental center manager then an email saying, hey, when are you guys sending out applications? So she sent me an application, and training was before school started. I couldn't move in yet because I was living in the dorms. So I came up, I interviewed. I wasn't really sure if I was going to get it or not. She called me later that afternoon and let me know that I had got the job working in the rental center. So for the first 3 days, I live way down in Southern California, so there was no way for me to like commute. So I stayed at Motel 6 for 3 days as I went through training because I couldn't yet move into the dorms. And now looking back, it was one of the best decisions I think I've made since coming to UC Davis. Outdoor Adventures is completely my home away from home. I kind of went into the program not sure of what I wanted to do, and I've come out and grown more than I think I ever could have doing anything else. I've went through Wilderness Guide School the first fall that I was here at UC Davis. I have since gone through every guide school that Outdoor Adventures offers. I'm a wilderness first responder, I'm a swiftwater rescue technician, and so passing on my knowledge to other people now, it's kind of come full circle from learning from the people who are older than me, going through, getting the training, and then having the confidence to go back around and then teach these people what I was taught. And that's a really great thing about Outdoor Adventures is how that whole progression happens. So what I'm here to talk about today is not myself for the whole time. I'm going to talk about our academic partnerships and how we partner with classes on campus and my experience in those classes and how Outdoor Adventures has helped all of those classes succeed and be able to really run. So this is what a traditional classroom looks like. It looks a lot like what we're all sitting in right now. This is SciLec 123. I've had numerous classes in here. You sit, you stare at a PowerPoint presentation for an hour or 2 hours. You take notes, and it's not very fun. It's hard to really gain knowledge from doing this, especially in the stuff that I'm studying. So when I'm studying geology and hydrology and ecology, so in my opinion, there's really no better place to learn that than out in the field. So this is a class I took spring quarter, Ecogeomorphology. It was WFC 102. It was run through a partnership with the Watershed Center. So I had a very interesting role in this class because I was both a student, my face is all black, but over on the very left side in the back, that's me. And I was also a guide on the trip. So I was interacting with my professors and with my peers in a way that I would have never otherwise interacted. This was an amazing, amazing opportunity and an amazing class that I probably would have never taken if it hadn't have been for Outdoor Adventures and the partnership that we have and the professors coming into Outdoor Adventures and saying, hey, we need guides, but if you also want to take this class, it applies directly to my major and it helps a lot getting out in the field instead of taking a course which I could have just learning in a traditional classroom setting. But with that being said, there's a lot of challenges that come about from learning in the outdoors. You don't have a desk and a pencil and paper and a comfortable chair all day. So that's kind of where Outdoor Adventures comes in and where the guiding aspect of my job really comes in. So like Jordy mentioned earlier, our goal is to make it as easy as possible for the teachers to present the material, to help us facilitate our learning in any way possible while the guides are taking care of the logistical stuff. So we're planning food buys, what kind of food we're going to be cooking. We're getting food groups established. The guides are in charge. Every night there was a guide who was in charge of 3 or 4 students who were cooking breakfast and lunch and dinner and setting that whole thing up. So you're working with your peers, everyone with a common goal of eating, but you're the only one that really has the knowledge of what exactly needs to happen, where things need to go, and all of that knowledge has come about through the experiences that I've had guiding for Outdoor Adventures. This is a class that I was able to guide. This is a graduate group class that spends 16 days on the Grand Canyon. Jordy mentioned it earlier. And being that I'm an undergrad, I would have never had the opportunity to go in the Grand Canyon on a rafting trip for 16 days, other than being a guide for Outdoor Adventures. And I can say that this is hands down the most amazing trip that I've ever been on. And it changed my life in so many ways. But a major one was just being able to interact with graduate students who had knowledge very applicable to my field for 16 days, and to be able to talk to them and listen to them present. Every night there was presentations by these graduate students, and sometimes it went over my head, but sometimes it didn't. And being able to engage with them and to ask them questions and to really get advice towards myself moving towards graduate school and what the best way to approach that is. And then on top of that, the professors who were teaching this class are some world-class professors that I really became friends with. I consider many of the professors who were on this trip my acquaintances, and I'm able to go to them, and they're like mentors to me. I can go to them and talk to them about classes to take and things like that, all because I was on this trip and I was rowing a boat down the Grand Canyon, and they were putting their trust in me. So that was a very interesting kind of role reversal that happened on this trip. So kind of to close out here, here's two pictures. The picture on the left, I am doing fish surveys in the Tuolumne Meadows. That's the Tuolumne River. So this eco-geomorphology class, basically what we did is we studied the entirety of the Tuolumne River watershed. So we studied it at its headwaters up in Tuolumne Meadows. We rafted for 3 days down the main stem of the Tuolumne, which is below Hetch Hetchy, which all of you know is a very controversial reservoir. And then we spent a day below Don Pedro Reservoir doing fish surveys and things like that, really studying the watershed. So that's me on the left as a student, getting to do something that you would never get to do. You can't just go up into Tuolumne Meadows and put a snorkel mask on and a dry suit and jump in the water. You have to have special permits and things like that that Eco-Geomorphology and the Watershed Center had that I could never acquire by myself. And learning in that environment is absolutely amazing. Being able to identify a fish species just by seeing it swimming in its true natural environment is something unlike anything else. Because looking at a species that's been dead for 10 years, that's in our fish lab, is very different than seeing what it actually looks like in reality. And then over here, this is me guiding. This is me guiding a boat down Clavey Falls Rapid on the Tuolumne River. It's the biggest rapid. It has a ton of buildup, but it's an amazing, fun, awesome rapid that I would have never been able to guide if not for my experiences and really getting into outdoor adventures and getting involved in the level that I did. I'm here with students, with a TA, with people who are all putting their trust in me, and it really changes everything. And the day before that, I had one of my professors in my boat, and it really brings it full circle again. That's all what it's all about. I'm interacting with my professors. They're putting their trust in me, and then when we get to camp, I'm putting my trust back in them to be able to give the academic back to me. And so that is something that I think is amazing that Outdoor Adventures does. And it really has enhanced my learning experience here at UC Davis so much. So that's it.